Hello and good morning. Welcome to the News Burst Live Full Force podcast brought to you by journalsjudgereborn.com with me, Christopher McLeod, AKA Diagnostic 80. Yes, a bit of news kind of breaking last night. Lots of stuff kind of happened yesterday. And I thought, well, I'll wait till the morning and I'll do a breakfast show. I think we might have to start doing this like every day in July and June because there's so much going on. And who doesn't want to do a morning show every every single morning? Hello to everyone in the chat already. Justin Anderson, good morning from Tri-Cities, Washington. Nice, good morning. Neil as well, Neil Hill, Michael Jean Fleming, Todd Broutrud, Detective Dirty, and Jason Pentecost. What's up, cheese bags indeed. Lots to get through today. Two major stories. One, obviously, was that Glenda was unlocked for the HasLab, which means we are getting to the, we're getting to the third tier ever so slowly. But you know what happens towards the end of these, campaigns? There's about 2 and a bit days left, like just under 3 days left. Monday, effectively, I think, is when it comes to a close. So we will no doubt do some sort of live thing when it comes to a close. It depends what time it comes to a close, really. We'll see. But hoping, wishing that we get to that 19K for sure. Right then, and we got Glenda unlocked. That's great. And then the other bit of news happened late last night, but managed to catch it early for the first time in ages. I was up. I've turned into a right old man where I go to bed like really early and get up really early. What's that about? But thankfully I was awake when HIYA Toys posted their Flint reveal, which we'll get into as well on the show later. Right then, loads more people joining. Thank you very much. Hope everyone's having a good morning, a good Friday morning. Very close to the weekend now, isn't it? Well, I suppose it is technically, but there's still a bit of a work day to go for most people. So I hope everyone does have a good weekend. But let's get stuck in to this news. Yes, double whammy today, guys. So let's start with the HasLab unlock. Bosh. Glenda is unlocked at 16K, and currently it's 16. Was it 300 and something? Last time I checked, it was about 16.3. It might have gone up even more. Let me just double check. I'm on the page, just refreshing it. You know how it goes. About 16.302. So brilliant. Keep that moving. If we can get to I want to say if we get to if we get over 17 by Saturday night, I think we are well in Garden City for a busy last 24 hour, however long it will be. We'll be in for a busy 24 hours, I'd tell you that much. Again, 3 days is actually quite a lot in crowdfunding. And 14 hours and 6 minutes, of course. So I do honestly think we're going to be able to unlock Crazy Legs as well, who is also here. Yes, he is locked at 19K, of course. I do think, though, based on previous, based on information that we're seeing, based on the way that these campaigns operate, and based on precedent, it looks like we're probably going towards about 21.5K as a final endpoint. That's not guaranteed, of course. All sorts of things can happen in that time, and you never really know at the end of the day. So we can say, it'll be about 21.5, but we don't know. So that would be great if it could hit about 21. That would be, I would think that would be beyond. I mean, it's already a successful HasLab. I've heard people talking about it being unsuccessful, and I'm not really sure how that's a thing. I think we've been almost conditioned to feel that like a Kickstarter campaign or something, it's all about the stretch goals, and that's what makes it successful. And I think we lose track of the fact that the initial funding goal is what we're after. As long as that's done, great, we're on for a winner, and then everything else is just Billy bonuses to me. Now, obviously, yes, success ranges. If the HIS tank is what you're comparing it to, then we need to unlock everything. And I think, what did that finish at? Like 20, 25 something, 24. I can't remember what it finished on, but it was pretty high. You know, like, you know, and it was obviously considered a huge success based on its predecessor in the Sky Striker, which got pretty far on that last night. My goodness, that was exciting watching that happen. But at the same time, we didn't get ketchup and mustard, did we? But you know, I don't know. Like, I personally feel like it's already a success, and you know, we've got 3 figures already: Wild Bill, Ripcord, and Glenda. And then, you know, with all, you know, a bit of luck, we might even get Crazy Legs. Right, lots of comments. Sorry, I'm missing all of them at the moment. Hello, guys. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. I'm going to go back to Glenda because that's the news that we're talking about at the moment. Ben says, I had to do my gloating touchdown dance on all the feeds that said we would never unlock Glenda. Brilliant. Yeah, you know, I get it if people aren't fussed, but at the same time, like, I don't know why you'd want it to fail. It just, I don't know, it seems weird. Or wanted to get fail at that point. Like, it just seems so, can't think of the term, but, you know, like, it's I should know it, and I've said it before many a time, but it feels very like opposite of what you actually need. Counterintuitive. Thank you. Myself. Thank you, brain, for remembering that word, or 2 words. It's counterintuitive, in my opinion, to just because a figure isn't of your liking, to want to like implode the entire thing. Doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, we've got a little bit to go to get to Crazy Legs, but like I said, the last 24 hours is really, that's the hot ticket. That's where it goes absolutely nutbags. And also, hot ticket is not a GI Joe code name, but it should be. Hello, everybody. Neil says, I'm always hoping for a mystery tier that hasn't been revealed, but I think we're going to be lucky to get to 19 before this closes out. We'll see, Neil. But yeah, I don't think there's enough legs in it to maybe reveal something else. Yeah, unless it just went nuts today. But no, I can't see that happening. A lot of people are very confident on it, though. Still, I mean, it depends what kind of person you are. It's a glass half empty, half full type situation, isn't it? You're either the optimist, or the pessimist, and that seems to be the way it goes. Yeah. Anyway, cool. That is Glenda. She's unlocked now. You're safe. You've got Jane Glenda Mulligan. Now you can gamble and try and get Crazy Legs for 19K. It's like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Who wants to be a HasLabionaire? No, that doesn't make any sense. I personally, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think 21,500 something, 21,500 is where I think it'll end up. Now I could be way off, but that's if we're going to do little bets. If this is going to be a little betting thing, that's where I'm going to stake my claim there. But it could be way less than that. We might not unlock Crazy Legs, which would suck. But at the same time, I don't know. I'm fairly confident we're going to get a big spike. Right. Let's move on then, because obviously HIYA Toys also broke some news yesterday, and that is that they have revealed their Flint figure, their exquisite mini 1/18th scale figure. Now, I've noticed, obviously, I've been checking out comments. I've had my own kind of opinions on this as well. Yeah, there's a lot to kind of get into here. One thing, obviously, we know that they're continuing that classified. Thank you, John Nguyen, for the super chat. Very much appreciated. And I'm going to put this comment on because that was the one that followed it. There was nothing on the super chat, but thank you very much for the super chat, John. And thanks, Chris, for sharing this hobby. I appreciate the thanks, bud. And thank you for the support. Very much appreciated. Right back at you. So thank you very much for the super chat, John. And yeah, and I hope you're having a great week. I hope you're having a great start to your weekend, sort of. Let's just say I hope you're having a good Friday morning, or wherever you are in the world. A Friday, whatever it is. It might not even be Friday. Cheers. So let's talk about Flint. When I first saw this pop up, my initial response was, okay, cool. Yeah, they've gone classified again. So that's clearly what we're getting here. We're getting very much the early classified design evergreen concepts for this particular figure line. But I have to say, I looked at that. I looked at the beret and I was like, that's sticking out a bit funny. So I think I'm obviously this isn't like the final product may vary, is what they always say that as well. So there might be changes made, there might be differences to this. Is just obviously like a sample or a pre-production model painted. So I have a feeling there might be changes, but it does make me obviously I want to talk about, like, you know, the specifics of the details as we see them. And I think the beret is a little off, and I genuinely think the face is a little off as well. Now, if we look at the previous releases, what have we had so far? We've had Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, Cobra Commander, Firefly. Have we had Firefly? No, we haven't. I've made that up. I think we've had those three. Have we had any others, guys? I've completely blanked on the other HIYA reveal, if there has been one. Destro, maybe? I've completely not remembered at all. I know for sure Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Cobra Commander, and obviously now Flint. Was there another one? Roadblock? I can't remember. Guys, tell me in the comments, please. I can't remember what HIYA toy. I'll just look it up while we're talking. I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. It is the morning show, so that's what you get. I'm genuinely considering doing this as a regular thing, like the morning burst kind of thing. HIYA Toys GI Joe Beachhead. That was it. Thank you. That was, sorry, no one's. Oh yeah, it's coming in now. Now you tell me, as I've already found it. But thank you, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Thank you, Swivel Arm Kimberlin, now with Kung Fu Battle Grip. Thank you, Michael Jean Fleming. And thank you again for correcting what you said. You said Beach Heath first, Swivel Arm, which is a brilliant name for a G.I. Joe character. Yeah, Beachhead, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, and Cobra Commander. And now we've got Flint. So what I would say about those particular previous releases, they're all masked. So, and we actually spoke about this with Pat on the show. I said, like, they haven't done an unmasked head yet. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about, you know, dealing with like a, you know, facial sculpt. And I'm not superly enthused currently, right? We'll have a look at some of the shots. I mean, the product shots are always really cool. I think the figure looks dope. Like, you know, everything on him looks cool. Like, it's obviously it's all classified inspired. I have no issues with the figure in general. But when you get to the head and the beret, that's where I'm like, it could have been better. I think that you're talking at like the figure body is kind of at like a kind of standard, and then the head and the beret are sort of, you know, B minus slipping into C plus kind of territory. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I'm feeling about that's what I'm feeling about with this at the moment. Ray Murphy says, I'm glad HIYA have taken this route of the less desirable early classified designs. My wallet absolutely needs a break. Oversaturation of Joe lately. Can't believe I'm saying that. Yes, there is an oversaturation of Joe. If you're collecting everything G.I. Joe, it is hard. If you're collecting multiple lines right now, it is almost impossible, because of the fact that there's so much to choose from. And this is like the, you know, my diamond shoes are too tight and my hundreds don't fit in my wallet and my diamond shoes are too tight, kind of complaining. But it's kind of, to a degree, you know, we've had a lot of people have had to scale down what they collect, which, you know, is, you know, the responsible thing to do, of course. But we are in a situation now where we have got so much to choose from. And if we like more than one of it and we have to make a sacrifice, then that sucks. But at the same time, it is a little bit, that's life, isn't it? And again, thank you, Ray, for the comment. This is like, it's like, you know, peaks and troughs with G.I. Joe, isn't it? It's like, you know, you hit a certain period of time and there's nothing for ages. That you'll get like a sneaker release or a random jacket comes out, or, you know, something very minimal. And then all of a sudden you get the classified series hit you like a ton of bricks. And even though it was kind of patchy release schedule for a period of time over COVID, of course it was. But once it got into that kind of, and I say once it got into the rhythm, it's only taken very recently to get into any kind of rhythm. So yeah, I think like, you know, you get peaks and troughs with it. And even in like the high, you know, capacity years when we've got lots of different lines to choose from, there are going to be moments where there's a bit of a dip and then there's like an absolute avalanche. And it just seems like June, Yojo June, and then going into SDCC, it's just non-stop from June the 1st to like going into like August as well, because we have like, there's a Walmart Fall Con thing, isn't there? Which I think happens in like September. Obviously, you've got PulseCon later in the year. You've got the 1024 special event. You've got, and even before that, you've got like Target, reveals and releases. You've got random fan stream classified stuff. So think about all of that towards the end of this year as well. We're going to have a steady stream of reveals, of blooming pre-orders, and it is going to be like that, steady as we get stuff in now. And it's at least that's kind of improving a bit. At least I know distribution isn't perfect, but it's certainly getting to the US like quicker than it was, which is still a bit of a laugh, because there are loads. I know loads of people are waiting for the torpedo, shipwreck, etc. kind of wave, which was the kind of most recent like in hand wave, but it's still taking its time. You see it elsewhere way before you see it in the US, which is weird. That is an odd thing for me. Obviously, not so much in the Far East. Like I expect to see it in the Far East, but then you've got all these other places like Europe and the UK and everywhere like in between that seem to get this like wave. And obviously that's in the way that the product moves across the globe. But still, I will say, obviously, we've just had news that Tiger Force Dusty and the Python Patrol Crimson Guard are showing up in Targets now in California. So expect that's like distribution to cover the country at some, slowly. But we'll probably get those, start checking your targets is what I'm saying. But anyway, so coming back to Flint, the other thing, like I said, love the figure. The build is gorgeous. The design's nice. The deco looks tight. Really like this figure. It's just, I just have that issue with the head and the beret. The other thing you could sort of argue with this particular release, like Beachhead came with a fair amount of things. Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow were packed to the gills with accessories. Cobra Commander had, a couple of different bits and pieces as well. But Flint only gets the shotgun with the sheath backpack. He gets the pistol with the holster, and he gets spare hands. And that just, to me, seems like, I know, like, you're not going to, I mean, what else are you going to give him? But, like, it would have been cool to get some other things in with him, I think. And I don't think the classified Flint didn't really come with a lot. I'm pretty sure it was a similar loadout. Did he come with a knife? I don't think he did. I think it was just a pistol and a shotgun. So they are kind of keeping it close to what we've had with the classified series. So you can't really argue with it. And I guess like the secondary is pretty cool and almost acts as like an accessory. The figure stand, the dio piece, you could also throw that in. I'm kind of stretching there, but like he does, and obviously the removable beret technically. But I don't know. I still feel like there is an element of minimization in terms of the accessories with Flint here. Robert, sorry, this is about the Dragonfly, and now Robert has become me on the screen as well. It's not the Dragonfly. The tiers they set with it became the issue. For some reason, certain group wanted it to be Hawk and Airborne to be the tiers, maybe because those who will scout them can't really resell Glenda since she was only recognized in International Joe collectors only. Unlike if it is Hawk or Airborne, since they can resell them and they can claim it will never be reproduced. Unlike Glenda, she may get a repaint to Scarlet as retail. Well, she is. Robert, I totally understand that, and I think you're right. I think there's a lot of truth in what you're saying. I think a lot of people that were upset were people that wanted to, get a number of, characters to be able to resell. Sorry, I'm just multitasking. I think, but yeah, so I get what you're saying definitely there. At the same time, though, I think, for the other people that kind of like jump on that too, you've kind of got to, let's say, you can expect whatever you want. You don't have to temper your expectations. But if you want to be like in a position where you're not going to be disappointed, I'm not saying you think smaller, but think more practically. is what I would suggest. So, and like I said, I'm not trying to take, you can have whatever expectation you want. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm saying if you want to avoid the disappointment, there's an element of an understanding of what they're going to do in this scenario. What are the likelihoods of figures? It's not like we got known characters other than Cobra Commander in the His Tank HasLab. Like we got a retro Cobra Commander thrown in, almost as like let's give them that. Let's just give them that. Let's do it. We've made loads and let's do it. And the other ones, like it's a female gunner variation of the driver. It's a tactician variation of the driver. You're not talking like with this one right now. We've got like Wild Bill, Glenda, and Crazy Legs, who are like, and Ripcord, who are like all, and again, sub-team versions. So they're coming in their regular versions. Someone said the other day, like, you can't guarantee that we'll get a repainted Ripcord and Crazy Legs. No, but you can pretty much say, yeah, it's going to happen. The only time it doesn't happen is when they decide they want to redo a figure completely. Like, we haven't seen Firefly redone, as in the first version. So that's one that hasn't been repainted. But it's not like... sorry, I had a little issue there, audio. It's not like we have a precedent for a repaint of Firefly in that style. So whatever. There are others as well. Obviously, Flint is getting a repaint in Tiger Force. Recondo hasn't happened yet, but it's not to say we're not going to get him. I mean, we're probably going to get Recondo. Come on. And the same with like a Night Force Ripcord and a Night Force Crazy Legs. Surely we're going to be getting regular ones. I mean, look at in terms of pre-paints, especially specifically looking at pre-paints, it's only Recondo we haven't had. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I'm waiting. Beachhead wasn't a pre-paint Jarhead. He was his original color. So in terms of pre-paints, in terms of getting the sub-team first, it's only Recondo that we haven't had yet. And I say yet because we're probably going to get him. We've had Outback, and he's had his standard done. We've had Bazooka, he's had his standard done. The same for... What did we get first, Battle Android Trooper-wise? I think we got both, didn't we? Anyway, don't worry. We're going to get the standard versions of these figures, even if they don't come in the HasLab. And that's what they're doing. They're protecting those figures by putting the Night Force versions in the HasLab. Mark says, hey, Chris, you hadn't been live for at least 5 minutes. I was getting worried. I know what's going on. Hey, morning, Mark. Flaffle57 says, Mad Marauders repaints coming for sure. Yep. Justin says, what do I think about Flint's classified head sculpt? Mate, I love it. I fell in love with that head sculpt because I thought it had a bit of a John Hamm look. And for some reason, I had this massive man crush on John Hamm. Ask Kate, she'll tell you all about it. But yeah, I definitely feel like that head sculpt is really cool. I love the hairstyle on it. I was really into it. And I know a lot of people don't really like it, Justin, but I was a big fan of that Flint head sculpt. I thought it was awesome. And that figure in general is still cool. I love it. Really love it. And if they do one that's slightly more vintage accurate with the different secondary, etc., go for it. I'm fine with that. My only issue so far in the entire classified line has been, like, my only major issue has been Falcon's head. That's it. Like, if they'd have just given him a different head and smaller as well, then I think that would have been perfectly fine as a figure. I'd have been very happy with that. So yeah, I think that's my only on the entire line. I feel like we're getting regular legs first, Crazy Legs to follow. Amazing, Mark. You're hilarious. Yeah, Jonathan, additional Night Force team members just adds to the Night Force collection. Absolutely. I don't see the issue there either. Anyway, yeah. Will that head fit on classified Falcon? No. Anyway, so yeah, so we've got this Flint, as I said, from HIYA Toys. A couple more shots here, some clearer shots on the white background. And again, like I said, I have no issue with the figure. I think it looks fantastic. I'm just a little bit kind of iffy on the face and the beret. Yeah. Adam says 1 dud in 80 plus figures is a pretty good ratio. Adam, it is, and that's why I just cannot. I can't get onto like some sort of like hatred for it, because it's like, it's one figure so far, and it's, by all accounts, it's one of those things that we might even probably see redone in the future. So you know what they're like, and they do listen to the fans and the response and the feedback, so they're aware, definitely. Flint is cool. He looks a bit like Jim Thorpe, says Eduardo Perez. Why don't I know who Jim Thorpe is? I'm going to have a look. Sorry for being an idiot. Just looking now. Oh, an athlete. Yeah, actually, you're right. Absolutely. He has got that vibe to him. I'm not. Yeah, that's actually quite a good shout on the classified figure. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Thank you, Eduardo. If that is indeed who you're talking about, I might be being even dumber and have picked the wrong Jim Thorpe. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Snell's World, genius. It's a shame that Hasbro didn't keep Tiger Force Recondo for the Dragonfly, as he was the pilot for the Tigerfly. Absolutely. Absolutely. He was the pilot. And he technically, it was that figure, but called Wild Bill in the UK as well. So that's even funnier, in my opinion. And Wild Bill was from Hull, as if. Anyway, yeah, that's a good shout. And I'm but at the same, by the same token, guess who's going in a Dragonfly with the teeth on it? It's got to be Recondo, hasn't it? It's got to be Tiger Force Recondo. It's got to be pilot in the version with the tampos of the mouth and the eyes. That would be so much fun. Maybe I can see people doing a repaint of it, like getting a couple and doing a Tiger Force repaint, and I'm excited to see that, genuinely, because I know it's going to happen like almost immediately. Excuse me. My retro Crimson Guards are being shipped out from Walmart. Pray for me. We're praying for you, Matt. Did I miss a super chat of yours? I did. Thank you, mate. Happy Friday to you as well. Much appreciated. I'll pass that along to Kate and Phoebes, who are with me today as well, and to the double F's. Thank you, Matt. Sorry, I completely missed that. Thank you so much for the super chat, buddy. I only knew because I was scrolling back to see if I'd missed anything, and I did. Idiot that I am. Yeah, cool. A lot of absolute 10s in the classified line, but Falcon is like that. Fair enough, Chaz. Yeah. Or in this case, ugly dude. Let's face it. But yes, Flint, iffy on the head and the beret, but I love the actual figure itself. This is one I'd love to get in hand, but like I said, this is the bit that's kind of throwing me off a little bit. Now, again, we are talking about a kind of sample production model type painted scenario. This is probably not going to be production quality, but I hope they do something. I hope they do something with that face, and I hope they do something with the beret, because the beret looks a little bit like the folded part sticks out a little bit too much. And again, difficult to kind of work with a smaller scale on these things, but you're only talking about the exterior, not really the interior change, but like the exterior kind of changing that up a little bit for me. The hair still looks cool, but yeah, I would definitely suggest them kind of doing something else to that face, because there are, funny enough, there are Falcon vibes going on with the kind of long, wide mouth kind of scenario. So hopefully, like I said, something changes along those lines, and we'll see eventually, won't we? And this is what I was talking about in terms of the loadout. You've got a backpack kind of holster for the shotgun. You've got the pistol, the spare hands, and then you've got the figure stand. So not a massive loadout technically. He's 105 mil tall, all in at about just over 4 inches. Slightly bigger, I think we found out, than the modern 4-inch line. I want to say they're ever so slightly taller, I think. But if you're into the higher stuff, they're starting to churn these kind of out a little bit now. And they like, in terms of turnaround, there isn't a massive distance between reveal and delivery. Like Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow are already in hand. I think Cobra Command will be next up. Then obviously Beachhead will follow suit. Flint is actually down for the first quarter of 2024. So in like January, February, March kind of time is when you can expect Flint. To kind of be out. In hand, I should say. Yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of distribution, it's Asia only, I think still. So it's one of those things where you're looking at like Robot Kingdom, or there was another site that someone mentioned to me the other day, which actually did really well for them in getting the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow figures. And I can't remember what it was, but yeah, Robot Kingdom is usually a good shout to get them. Matt says, I really want to like this HIYA line, but their legs seem to be too far apart. Is that just me? Well, his legs are spread there, Matt. But I know what you mean. Like if we get to a shot where there are like there's a big gap between and look at the grundle is what I'm saying. There is quite a large gap there, but it could just be where the model is sitting. Let's have because like you can see it kind of closes a little bit more. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that's your personal preference, obviously, in how it's designed. I haven't really noticed it. Just a lot of people do mention that the legs are quite skinny. Nerd Zoic carried them in the USA. Thank you, Jeremy. And yeah, I don't want to like, what's the word? I don't want to like bash on HIYA because, like I said, I think the figure looks phenomenal. Just a little bit concerned about the head and the hat. And the beret, sorry. So that's all I'll say on that one. And like I said, there's his loadout. But that's HIYA Toys Flint. Yeah, that's kind of me for the morning. We talked obviously Glenda. We talked the Dragonfly, where we think where it's gonna land. Yeah. We've talked Flint and HIYA Toys reveal. I think that's pretty much it for this morning. He says, knowing that there's probably going to be something as soon as he hangs up the line now, there's going to be something that's going to be revealed. How ridiculous is this week? The weekly is mental. Like it is, SDCC, panel news, it's HIYA Toys, Super 7 reveals, Chuckles, the Night Force Crazy Legs reveal, Glenda Blimmin Unlocked. There's more. The Walmart Collecticon figures. What a mental... This week has been busier than any week in Yojo June. Isn't that crazy? Scary crazy. There's another one I'm missing as well, isn't there? HASBRO expanded their EU footprint. HasBro Pulse, I should say. So they've expanded to pretty much all of the EU, I think. I did look at the list of countries, and I'm pretty sure it's all of them, but I might be wrong. I'll have to have a look at the list of actual EU countries as well afterwards, just to see what's missing. But I think, yeah, they've just completely, blown that out of the water. So that's crazy. And I think like there are a few territories, areas, countries that still need to get HasBro Pulse. And I know Australia is struggling massively with that. So it'd be nice to get Australia on there as well. I think, is it in South America, guys? I don't know if it is or not. I'm not sure if it is. Yes, Jeremy, there will be a Patreon live. It should have been this week, but it's probably going to be on the weekend. I'll probably do it on the Saturday tomorrow. But yeah, I couldn't get it done in the week. But yes, my Patreon crew will be getting an Intel Live. Yes, absolutely. Evan says, I heard Pat unlocked Glenda. Good job, Pat. Yeah, it was all he waited the whole time. Yeah, so if you are a Patreon, if you're a subscriber to our Patreon, then yes, I'll be doing that tomorrow. It's been one of those weeks. I'm sure you can understand. I have been churning out the episodes for you guys, so I do need to get that one sorted as soon as I possibly can. Anyway, yes, Leon Jarmo says, this will be an acid test as I find HIYA normally lets themselves down with poor human faces, even if they look okay in glamour shots. Yeah, I kind of felt that way with their aliens figures. Like I had a few Space Marines, and like I mentioned this again in talking about HIYA and talking about what the unmasked heads would look like. And I know they have been improving as well, though. That's the other thing. So I'm hoping that there are certain shots like that shot right there of Flint looks fine facially, but the beret still sticks out a bit. So I'm hoping that is either just on a bit wrong, like it can be pushed down a little bit more to the side, or, they can remold it a little bit. The HIYA stands do connect, Charlotte. Yeah, you see those two little like spaces at the bottom of the figure stand. They like lock into two little pegs on the other side, so it kind of like you can have like an infinite Dio flooring type situation, which is pretty cool. Absolutely. Right then, that's it for me. Let's obviously switch to this. Boom. Yeah, so that is the News Burst Live this morning. I'm going to start calling it the breakfast show. We'll just do a breakfast show every morning. It would probably be earlier normally as well. Like I'm only doing it because I've got a bit of time. So right then, I will see you guys tomorrow. If I don't see you before then, I mean, it's still early in the day, isn't it? Let's face it. You can like tell by the bags under my eyes. Like how I should start wearing like makeup for these shows so I don't look as like exhausted. But yeah, that's bad, isn't it? Have a great Friday if I don't see you before Saturday. And yeah, you know what to do at the end of all these episodes. And one more time, just to reiterate, Patreon live tomorrow. Don't know the time yet, but it'll probably be before the weekly. I apologize in advance. But yeah, I will send out a sit rep for the patrons. And in terms of everything else, you got the weekly tomorrow, and we've got I'm recording something with Justin next week. Should have done it yesterday, but it was too busy. Crazy things happened. So we're going to be doing a movie burst next week for you guys. And I've reached out to a number of different people regarding HasBRO, Super 7, etc., etc. So hopefully we'll be getting some more interviews lined up with those guys, either to talk after SDCC, which is more than likely that they are busy at this point in time, or maybe to squeeze a couple in before they go out there, but we'll see. Right then, it's been an absolute blast. I will see under-eye cheese bags, says Charlotte. Amazing. I will see you guys later. And you know what to do at the end of all these episodes. After 3, 1, 2, and 3, full force. See ya. That's it for this installment of the Full Force News Burst. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time, and as always, full force. Make sure you get involved with the discussion by liking, sharing and commenting on these videos, and as always you can keep up with the show after listening by following on Twitter @TheFullForce, liking the Facebook page facebook.com/TheFullForce, and if you would like to contact the show you can message us on either of those platforms with feedback and questions. We also have a Patreon page, so if you want to show your support for the show, see your name up in lights on these videos, or enjoy exclusive bonus content, then check out patreon.com/TheFullForce podcast, or click on the link on any of the posts this podcast appears in. Full Force.